There was Microsoft with Skype and Teams and Google with Hangouts, yet the video conferencing software, Zoom, has taken the world by storm. It's still often wondered how it has not only withstood the competition, but also excelled in the presence of these giants. To find the answer, we must go back a few years to the Zoom company story. Surely it would throw some light on what sets them apart and made them so efficient. Before we continue, please subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button below to get a notification on our next video. It was launched in 2013 by Zoom CEO, Yuan. For the most part, he has been instrumental to the growth of his company. He emigrated from China to the US to turn his dreams in tech into a reality. He had the vision that one day, technology would allow portable, easy-to-use video calls. Though he didn't know how to speak English flawlessly, his vast knowledge of how to write code secured him a job as an engineer in a company called WebEx Communications. From then, Yuan became a key player in developing their video conference software. And then, WebEx rose to become one of the first options for video calls in the market. In 2007, Cisco bought WebEx for $3.2 billion. By then Yuan had doubled his efforts to improve the software, and had attained the rank of VP of Engineering. Under his supervision, WebEx grew to more than 750 engineers, and had annual revenue of more than $800 million. Even though WebEx was the go-to video conference tool at the time, it wasn't perfect. Connectivity was unstable, audio and video would lag, and the installation process was frustrating for IT departments. Honestly, they survived that long because there was very little competition in the market. However, things were about to take a different turn. Of course, Yuan was aware of WebEx's deficiencies. In fact, he suggested changes, but his superiors didn't quite agree with them. Before I left Cisco, I spent a lot of time talking with WebEx customers. And every time, after talking with a WebEx customer, I felt very embarrassed because I did not see a single happy customer. And I tried to understand, why is that? I summarized all the problems those WebEx customers shared with me. Finally, I realized all those problems are brand new. Yuan, founder of Zoom, after dealing with a lot of resistance, he left. Yuan got the idea for Zoom while trying to find a way to connect with his long-distance girlfriend. Back when he still lived in China, Yuan and his girlfriend were enrolled in two different colleges that were 10 hours apart by train ride. The two eventually got married. I was only able to see her twice a year, and it took more than 10 hours to get there by train, Yuan told Forbes in 2017. I was young then, 18 or 19 years old, and I thought it would be fantastic if in the future there was a device where I could just click a button and see her and talk to her. That experience gave Yuan the idea to include video into telephone-based conferencing systems like Cisco's. Yuan also wanted to make a more user-friendly conferencing system that was fun to use. Though he left WebEx, there is no denying that the company taught him valuable lessons. Fundamentally, he realized that customers had to be happy. So, he took all the new problems he noticed and aimed to create a video conference software to solve them. Audacious, right? Well, he was audacious enough to convince about 40 engineers to leave WebEx with him and pursue this goal. Investors weren't left out as they too believed in his vision. In 2011, he raised $3 million to start his idea, and within 2 years, he had created the first Zoom iteration. Now, here's the secret ingredient of his strategy that made his video conferencing app stand out. He created Zoom with a video-first approach. Other companies like Skype had first created audio and then adjusted to video. With Zoom, the focus was on video, and that gave it an edge. Beta testers were very happy with the product and, after tweaking some issues, it launched in January 2013. It was immediately a massive success, and by May, Zoom claimed they had reached 1 million users. With the launch, they closed another round of funding, this time for $10 million, with a valuation of about $25 million. And by the end of 2013, another round of funding secured them $6 million more and doubled the company's valuation. By 2014, Zoom claimed 10 million users. This may leave you wondering what the secret recipe was. Well, that could be owed to the fact that it provided a lot for very little. They offered a 3-in-1 package: HD video conferencing, mobility, and web meetings, all for $9.99. It was cheaper than other options which only provided one or two of these services. Zoom was impressively compatible with browsers like Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. It also detected devices instantly, so there was no need to have versions for Mac or PC, and its data use was low enough to let it perform well even in slow or weak connections. Plus, Zoom had basic free features, but business clients could pay more for more features. Interestingly, Zoom didn't just consider the users. Cloud meetings no longer meant frequent intrusive installations, and when they were needed, the process was easy. Then, there was the time it took for a conversation to feel natural: 150 milliseconds. The major aim was to ensure that time was never exceeded. With the inclusion of all of these features, it was clear what mattered to Yuan, the users. CEO Yuan would even send replies to tweets from unsatisfied customers. Evidently, he knew what the customers wanted and served them efficiently. So, investment came easy. Between 2014 and 2016, funding increased, and so did the company's valuation until, in January 2017, Zoom received $100 million and finally reached a $1 billion valuation. Yet, they continued raking in some more profits. So, with the $1 billion valuation in 2017, it was time for the company to go public. In April 2019, when it went public, shares went up 72% from the original $36. That day, Zoom was valued at $16 billion. Notice that Zoom's success was at its peak during the pandemic. Since it did all right beforehand, it wasn't a surprise that Zoom was a hit when people were sent home. For the most part, it was so much of a success because people needed a medium to communicate with loved ones or business partners by any means closest to reality. It was as though everything was already taken. Then, there was Zoom providing the complete package. Zoom gave users free 40-minute meetings for up to 100 people. And, sure, Zoom couldn't have predicted the pandemic. Since the entire world was taken by surprise by this situation, alternative means of survival were immediately sought. Searches for webinars, video conferencing tools, and VPN spiked in a matter of days, if not hours. So all the years trying to make video calls easy came in handy at the right time. People needed a tool that was perfect for the job, and, amidst all of them, there was one that stood out: Zoom. It's not like Zoom is free of conflict. As this pandemic crisis evolved, reports have surged that the app is facing security issues. 2019 saw Apple create an update to remove the Zoom server from its devices, after it was found that the server rendered Mac computers vulnerable, even after uninstalling it. Again, Zoom created patches and upped its security. And, again, it didn't stop there. Zoom's rising public profile led to increased scrutiny from the New York Attorney General's office over its data privacy practices. Public Zoom calls have dealt with trolls joining and sharing graphic images, and online classes have faced people hijacking a meeting in a phenomenon called Zoom bombing. To combat these occurrences, Zoom introduced a feature that allows meeting hosts to screen people before allowing them to enter the meeting. This was to cut back on the disruptions. Yuan announced several measures to help make Zoom more secure, including bringing in outside experts, expanding the company's bug bounty program, a practice where tech companies offer cash rewards to ethical hackers who find issues with the company's security system, and holding weekly conferences to update people on the company's progress. Zoom is an admirable example of a company that did three things right. They observed a problem that affected many people, worked hard at solving the big problem, and, all the while, focused on the customer. What do you think about the Zoom company story? Where do you see them in the next 5 years? Thanks for watching this video. Please share your opinions in the comments section below, and remember to click the subscribe button to be the first person to watch new videos on this channel.